kind of goes back to my beginnings in filmmaking. It was when I made Mr. Bill, I had a Super 8 camera, a little splicing block, scissors, and tape, and I could make a movie. And back then the standard was, can they make it out? Can they see what's happening? And that was it. And that same little movie I did Mr. Bill. It was basically a budget of about $10. The Play-Doh, had to open the cans at Woolworths to make sure it was fresh. But made the movie, and that's the same film that got on Saturday Night Live. And so I like the independence of having technology to allow me to make movies. And back then it was Super 8. But over the last 10 to 15 years, the digital desktop has been evolving. And to me, it's the same as Super 8. What it does, it allows me to make movies that I want to make without having to go out and try to convince people to give me tons of money to do stuff. It just gives me the freedom to make something. And use my own camera, shipped it down here, and actually coordinated a number of the shoots with the Saints schedule. So I got to go to a lot of Saints games while filming this. And I wanted to also do something where I got all the experts in their fields to talk and edit it together in a way without having to write something myself, because I'm not an authority on anything. I wanted to be the innocent bystander and kind of be like the audience on a journey trying to figure out what this is all about. And each person I would interview, they may say something that would trigger an idea to go find somebody to answer that question. And before long, I had 20 different people's perspectives, and then it became just a big editing job of trying to piece a linear story together from all these 25 hours of interviews and make some sense out of it. And that was a challenge. I guess the most interesting thing was how new the area was. I assumed, like Pontchartrain and everything was prehistoric, but the fact that the mouth of the river is, there are buildings in Europe that are, older than the mouth of the river. That was amazing. That the Lake Pontchartrain wasn't here 3,000 years ago. It's just people all of a sudden showed up at the right time, and then, oh, we'll build a city here because it was an interesting trade and connecting point. And I guess that's one of the most interesting things. And then it kind of evolved into man against nature. It was a great commerce site, and more people wanted to live here because of all the success. And then they decided we had to use technology to help make it more inhabitable, to live in a place that really shouldn't support this many people. And I wanted to show how the current predicament naturally evolved. So it's not like anyone's fault. Everyone wants to point fingers at the Corps or at the oil companies, but it was just this natural evolution of where we are today. The DVD is a relatively new invention, and people take it for granted that it's great to watch movies and you can listen to the director's commentary, but at some point every movie on the planet's going to have been put on DVD, and then what? And I think in the classroom, the DVD is a great tool because, well, for one thing, it's a very inexpensive device. So it'd be pretty easy to put these in the classrooms. And the best feature is the interactivity of it. You can click on a button and have a series of menus for the teacher to go exactly to the topic they want to show at that point. So on this disc, you could watch the whole show once, at one time, or you could spread it out over the course of a whole semester. So if a teacher one day was talking about the levee system, you could just navigate to the menu that says levee, click on it, and it would play. It wouldn't have to be fast-forwarding through a tape where all the kids are shooting spitballs at each other. You can just go right to exactly what you want. And of course, the DVD is a much higher quality than VHS, and it also offers a lot of other features. For instance, on this DVD, I was able to put extras such as the whole evolution of the Delta, and it's 3D animation that I did on my system. By the way, I shot all this myself. I edited the whole thing on my own digital editing station, which I've been kind of putting together over the years. And this is the first DVD that I've done for the education market. I hope to get it into the public school system. It's being used this semester at UNO in their geology course and at Loyola. And I just think it's on the verge of becoming a very big educational tool. And The nice thing about doing something on education, it's got a long life to it. It can be used year after year after year. It's just not another movie. They show it and it's over and that's the end of it. And you know, it's for good. You know, kids, they complain that kids only want to watch television. Well, you know, they're going to keep watching television. So you've got to use that as an extra tool to educate them. Well, I was born and raised here. I grew up, the first house was on Magazine off in Nashville and lived in the uptown area. And actually, we didn't have a car, so the country for me was Audubon Park. So I would ride my bike to Audubon Park just about every day in the summer and go fishing in the lagoon. And went to school at the McDonough's, 14-7, and then in McMain. And then I was fortunate to go to Franklin High and actually graduated. I mean, I think I was voted most likely not to succeed, but I got the ring. And I went to UNO for a little while, but then a friend of mine, of my sister, a guy that she was going out with, was making this low-budget feature film here in New Orleans. He was writing it, directing it, doing the starring in it, and asked me if I wanted to help. So I worked on this film, and it suddenly showed me how films are made, that everything was shot out of sequence. And I got very excited about it. And I actually borrowed the Super 8 camera from the guy making the film, and that's where I made my first Mr. Bill film and all the other little comedy shorts I used to show around town. I had a little show on Channel 26 and a radio show, live shows at bars, and you know, fortunately, I didn't have an aptitude for anything, so you know, I went into comedy. And people said, "Well, you're not even funny." I said, "Well, I know, but you know, I always want to do this." You know, so I somehow persevered, packed my bags, moved to New York when I didn't know any better, and somehow got on Saturday Night Live. From the first season, Mr. Bill was. I submitted a whole reel of films, and they picked Mr. Bill out, and ultimately got a job on the show as a staff writer and making other movies. The concert for Elvis Presley's Coat, you might remember, it was the Coat in concert. But those are all my relatives who were in that film from New Jersey, the family up there. And but I kept coming back over the years, visiting New Orleans, because I never realized what a unique place it was until I actually left. You know, you go to New York or other places and ask for a Go Cup, and you get wrestled down by security. I mean, this is a unique city.